everybody, and welcome back to a little Design 101 for you. I did have a request a while ago to do a video about how to design dorm rooms for school, and I did read it and I was like, oh, this is a great idea for you guys. The problem is I didn't have time and I got really busy and stuff, but school is still on, you still have time to design, and a new semester is going to be starting the end of December. So this gives you lots of time to figure it out with your roommate for when you get back what you guys want to do. So I'm actually going to do it on the spot. I'm starting with blank paper. I'm going to do some diagrams for you guys, tell you guys about some products and things that are going to help you live in the small cell block that you're living in. If residences in America are anything like Canada, they are extremely small, so they look almost like little prison cells. They're very small. You have a kind of a rectangle shaped bedroom, and you gotta fit 2 single beds in there and a dresser and 2 desks or something. I don't remember what you get in your room, and it varies depending on what residence you're at and whatever. So right now I'm going to focus on smaller rooms and how to get your own personal space in these rooms. So you have your 2 beds. You can do them, of course, the traditional kind of 1 bed here, 1 bed there, and then have your desks at the end with your little chair or so here. This is going to be terrible drawings, but it's really quick. So you'd have your desks here and your beds there. What you can do is actually get if you have acoustic ceiling, and acoustic ceiling is those little tiles with the metal plates in between, you can get these special clips, and I know you can definitely get them at Home Depot. They're clips that you slide into the metal plate there, and they stay on, and they can hold different things. And so what you would do is actually get maybe a bed sheet, maybe just a basic bed sheet. You don't want anything with a lot of design, and the reason is that will enclose your space too much. So get more of an airy bed sheet, maybe even something mildly sheer, and you're going to put that right in between you guys. But you're only going to put that to about right here where your desks are, so you still feel like you have an open kind of concept going on here without it being too closed in, because you really don't have a lot of room in that space. So you would put your drapery, this line right here, right in the middle there on your acoustical ceiling, and just hang it from there. So that's an option you guys can do if you like that setup. You can also just get your own canopy maybe, and you see those big bed canopies where you can close them up and stuff. You can hang those from acoustical ceilings as well. And this way you have your own personal space, whether you have maybe a boyfriend over or a girlfriend or something of that nature, and it gives you your own room in a room where you don't have your own room. So that's kind of an easy suggestion for that. Another way people do is, of course, bunk beds will give you more space for your room, but bunk beds aren't very practical, and the reason is that you feel kind of closed in, especially if you're on the bottom bunk. But you just don't have a lot of height room, which can make you feel really surrounded. What else you could do is, and it really depends on your window, so it's hard to kind of give you guys real suggestions without actually having diagrams of actual dorms, because each dorm is laid out a little bit differently. But what you could do as well is have them opposite to kind of give you your own full space. So we'll keep the kind of layout of the room the same almost. And you're going to do it opposite like this. So you have 1 bed up here and 1 bed down there and desks vertical. So how you would take up this space is kind of easy. I mean, someone takes this side still, someone can take this side, or you could do it across the top way and across the bottom. The problem with doing it this way is that the person near the bottom will always have that door there. The reason this works though, and that is more functional, is the reason that this one kind of works. With the drapery. You don't need the drapery in this case for the reason that you're not actually looking at someone. They're more on a vertical than you, and especially if you have your pillow up on this end and they have their pillow up on here, it kind of makes the space seem more privatized as long as you're not directly staring at them. Giving you a little bit more sense of your own space, and especially if you claim this desk here, then you are looking only at your stuff and you're not really looking at theirs. Again, you can also do a drape across this way, giving you guys that extra space there, so it is your own private areas. Or you can do one of those bifolding separation doors, and you can kind of cut that right in between the room, giving you your own space. Also leaves for a great design. And I mean, you can build your own separation too, by just taking bifocal doors and attaching 2 of them together, giving you 4 panels. Or you can just do a shower curtain and just use that as well. Now, the reason I was telling you guys, of course, about not having big patterns, the same thing goes for your divider, your separator. You don't want to have it too crazy because it makes your space feel crazy. Another tip is that make sure you're not hanging a ton of posters. A lot of people like to have tons of pictures and posters and everything on their walls because it makes them feel at home. And yeah, that's nice, but do it in group sections. So if you have a wall like this, say this is your wall, hopefully you guys can see that, instead of filling it all up with a billion pictures, it can make you feel really cluttered in your space, and especially because you're in a dorm, you kind of need that space for your study room. It's going to stress you out. Instead, maybe do just 2 sections of your wall and fill those tiny areas with maybe a bunch of pictures and frame it up into just 2 single frames. It makes the room feel a little bit more even and together without it being too much, or maybe even just having 1 singular frame of a whole bunch of pictures so you're reminded of those people without feeling claustrophobic and surrounded, especially in small spaces like a dorm. And it sucks, I know, because your walls are probably brick. I know in some places they have the painted brick, white brick walls, which are terrible. I don't know why they make dorms like that. That's not comfortable for anybody. So that can be a nice kind of division for you. Or if you're worried about it like seeming like a cell, what you can do is actually hang a whole sheet, just a white sheet, on your walls and cover them up with sheets. So that way you're not looking at something that is brick, you're looking at more of something that is a material, which is a little bit less straining on your vision, in the reason that it's softer and it's not as harsh as brick is. Plus, and they use semi-gloss paint, which is really shiny and irritable. It flattens up that shiny paint, and it just makes it more appealing to look at and less like a jail cell. What other tips can I give you about your space? There's a few things. I mean, it really depends on your room. If you have one of those rooms, let's get to a new piece, where you have, I know I've seen rooms like this, and it's a 4-person bedroom kind of. So you're still sharing a room with 1 person, but you're also sharing a bathroom in between your rooms. So these are 2 rooms and then you share a bathroom. Again, you can use the same kind of ideas of how you're going to space out your room like I've shown you in the before photos. But, I mean, you can also, if you're really close friends with your roommate, you can also put your beds very close together, almost, giving you guys a ton of room, and putting your desks together, giving you a ton more room to kind of have hangout space, which is kind of important, especially if you really like your roommate and you guys plan on having, like, visitors over. You're going to want some room to actually have visitors over. So we will do this. We'll do 2 ideas. So you can have it like this, where your kind of beds are really together and your desks are together and you have a whole bunch of space here to have visitors over. But I think a little bit of a more functional idea is something more along this line here, where you have your beds here up near the top, and then you have your desks here creating you a whole bunch of space here, whether you want to put in maybe beanbag chairs to kind of have extra seating, or actually ottomans make really good seating. Not only that, but you can store things in them, giving you a little bit more space, and storage is really, really essential in a dorm room. getting anything, I keep them here, is these little plastic shelves. So you just pick up these little plastic dressers that you can get at like Walmart, and they can carry a ton of stuff. So you can have a whole bunch of things in your space without it taking up a whole bunch of room. Underbed storage is important. You can get those really flat plastic Rubbermaid containers. You can do shelving if you're allowed to pierce holes in your wall. Not a lot of places let you, but if you do get that opportunity, that's awesome. Bonus for you. If you can't, you can always just get 3M hooks. 3M makes a brand of hooks with just an adhesive tape, and you can hang up maybe your jewelry or your scarves or something like that. Yeah, so there's lots of really temporary solutions that you can find out there. Just go to like Home Depot or a Lowe's or anything like that, or Rona if you're in Canada. And these are just going to be great solutions for you to kind of build your room so you can have lots of things in it without it feeling like you have lots of things in it. What else? Use the amount of space you have. So you may have maybe a 7-foot high room, so you don't have a lot of room in your space, or in your jail cell as it is pretty much. So use the space that you're given. If you're given height, use the height, because maybe you can't float because gravity kind of sinks you a little low, but try to store things up a little bit higher to give you a little bit more ground floor room. Lighting is usually key. You're given really terrible lighting usually in dorms. I suggest bringing your own lighting in to make it seem a little bit more roomy. Lamp lights are actually a really good investment for the reason that it gives a more dimmer light, so when you're trying to get to sleep at night, maybe your roommate wants to sleep but you still want to read, it gives you that option that you can read without irritating them. Or just things like that. Just different lighting can create a different space as well. Actually, a lot of space is created through lighting, so keep that in mind when you're designing your dorm. And what are other really good products? Mirrors, if you're a girl. Just instead of you two having 2 separate mirrors, which I know seems like a great idea, have maybe just one. Have one big mirror for both of you, and then maybe have a small portable mirror. Like I have this one that I can do my makeup on, no problem. And just invest in one of those so that you both don't need the mirror at the same time, but at least you're not taking up too much space in your room with mirrors. And I know people say lots of mirrors make a space feel bigger. Too many mirrors can be an overload as well, especially in a small space. So keep that in mind as well. What else? It's really tough to say because a lot of dorms are really different. So like I said, it's really hard to kind of get a kind of an idea that works for everybody. So you may only take a few of these ideas. You may not take any because none work for you. But I'm just trying to give you guys a general idea. And of course, it really works out well if you have a roommate that is really lenient. If you guys are very, very compatible, it makes it easier to kind of design a room because you guys can work together to design that room. So if you guys, I'm going to end this on this note because this is as easy and as basic and as generalized as I can get without getting too specialized. If you do have special requests on dorms or anything of that nature, let me know. I am more than likely to be able to help you design a plan or design something, and maybe we can share it and give it to everybody, and maybe it can help them as well. So leave any comments down below if you guys have any suggestions or any of your own ideas that you've done for your dorms. Let me know down below. And or if you have any questions about your dorm, maybe you can send me a picture and say, hey, this is my dorm, what can I do to make it better? And I will post your picture on here. We can talk about some designs actually as like a YouTube video. So let me know, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!